and sing our opening song today, Journey of Awakening. It is the green sheet inside your program. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. I'm on a journey of awakening to the presence of God. Expressing peace, joy, love, and harmony on this journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. I'm on a journey of awakening to the presence of God within me, expressing peace, joy, love, and harmony on this journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Everybody sing praise, 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 praise for the journey of awakening. Praise for the journey of awakening.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Crack, and on behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you to the Sonora Desert Center of Spiritual Living. Whoever you are or wherever you are in your journey, you're welcome here. We will validate you, support you, encourage you to be all that you're meant to be. This is my favorite one. Our vision statement is love in action every day in every way. We should live our life that way. Love in every day in every way. We express that love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. You'll find that declaration on the back of the bulletin. Please read along with me. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. Let's see, do we have any first-time visitors today? First time. Well, what I'm going to say, but welcome back. Welcome back, Ed and Kathy. We thought, even through all the storms and everything, they made it back. Welcome back. It's good to have you back. Yes, Ed. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Welcome. Oh, okay. Well, please, thanks for coming. Well, we have refreshments afterwards, and I hope more people will come around and get to know you a little bit better. Thanks for coming, though. Appreciate it.
Got another one.
Another one? Oh my! I thought she was here before. Belinda, yeah. Thank you. Okay. And even through all the rain and storm, Belinda found her way back to church. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. This weather has been kind of strange anyway. So. I'd like to thank everybody that has made this celebration possible, and that's everybody in the seat. and to everybody that does the extra work and to help this day be as good as it is. Yes.
I would just like to thank those people that supply all the goodies. I let it be known what we need, and my goodness, abundance arrives.
Well, okay, that's great. Yeah. Thank you, everyone that brings the food. That also makes a celebration worthwhile. We can stand around and get fat and meat. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Okay, let's go to our announcements.
The God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning. I'm John Lopez. I'm one of your amazing practitioners here at our center. We are the healing arm of this church, and if anything is going on with you where you would like prayer and treatment, we are here for you. And you can also fill out a card over on the table. We'll put it in our magic box. And whatever your intention or desire might be, it will magically manifest for you this week. All right. So join me in our opening invocation. Let's know together that there is only the one mind, the one consciousness, the infinite intelligence that is creator and source of all that is. And this mind, this consciousness, this energy fills this sanctuary. And each one of us here this morning, through the words and wisdom of Reverend Donna, through Heather's amazing music, and through everyone who has helped out this morning to make this service possible. I'm so grateful for this truth, and releasing it into divine mind, let us declare, and so it is. So I light our service candle and know that it represents the light of spirit manifesting and expressing in, through, and as each one of us right here, right now. So my reading this morning was inspired by today's sermon topic, the Via Negativa, the way of letting go. So I thought that a good companion piece might be from Deepak Chopra's The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, Chapter 6, The Law of Detachment. In detachment lies the wisdom of uncertainty. In the wisdom of uncertainty lies the freedom from our past, from the unknown, from the known, which is the prison of past conditioning. And in our willingness to step into the unknown, the field of all possibilities, we surrender ourselves to the creative mind that orchestrates the dance of the universe. The law of detachment says that in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. You give up your attachment to the result. The moment you relinquish your attachment to the result, you will have that which you desire. Anything you want can be acquired through detachment, because attachment is based on the unquestioning belief in the power of your true self. Attachment, on the other hand, is based on fear and insecurity. And the need for security is based on not knowing the true self. The source of anything in the physical world is the self. It is the consciousness that knows how to fulfill every need. Everything else is a symbol. Symbols are transitory. They come and go. Chasing symbols is like settling for the map instead of the territory. It creates anxiety. It ends up making you feel hollow and empty inside because you exchange yourself for the symbols of yourself. Attachment comes from poverty consciousness, because attachment is always to symbols. With detachment, there is freedom to create. Only from detached involvement can one have joy and laughter. Without detachment, we are prisoners of helplessness, hopelessness, mundane needs, trivial concerns, quiet desperation, and seriousness. The distinctive features of everyday mediocre existence and poverty consciousness. People are constantly seeking security, and you will find that seeking security is actually a very ephemeral thing. Those who seek security chase it for a lifetime without ever finding it. The search for security is an illusion. In ancient wisdom traditions, the solution to this whole dilemma lies in the wisdom of insecurity, or the wisdom of uncertainty. This means that the search for security and certainty is an attachment to known. And what's the known? The known is our past. The known is nothing other than the prison of past conditioning. Uncertainty, on the other hand, is the fertile ground of pure activity and freedom. The unknown is the field of all possibilities, ever fresh, ever new, always open to the creation of new manifestations. Relinquish your attachment to the known, Step into the unknown, and you will step into the field of all possibilities. This means that in every moment of your life, you will have excitement, adventure, mystery. I love the term, lean into the mystery. You will experience the fun of life, the magic, the celebration, the exhilaration, and the exaltation of your own spirit. When you experience uncertainty, you are on the right path. So don't give it up. Thank you. Namaste. I'll take our service candle, go over to our wishing table, and hold the high watch for you.
So my song today is also about, isn't this interesting how we always end up just kind of flowing into each other. So this is a song that I'm sure almost all of you in the room know. And it's about uncertainty. And it's about inevitability. And it's also about the wandering and the not being lost and exploring thing that I like to talk about a lot. But that's not what this song is. This one, especially since Brenda and Ed and Kathy are back, this one seems very appropriate today. Not knowing that any of these wonderful people would show up. See if you can catch it. Beneath that snowy mantle, cold and clean, the unborn grass lies waiting for its coat to turn to green. Slow bird sings the song he always sings, and speaks to me of flowers that will bloom again in the spring. When I was young, my heart was young then too, and anything you tell me, that's the thing that I would do. But now I feel such emptiness within, for the thing that I want most in life's the thing that I can't win. Spread your tiny wings and fly away, and take the snow back with you where it came from on that day. The one I love forever is untrue, and if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. The breeze along the river seems to say, you'll only break my heart again should I decide to stay. So little snowbird, take me with you when you go to that land of gentle breezes where the peaceful waters flow. Spread your tiny wings and fly away, and take the snow back with you where it came from on that day. The one I love forever is untrue, and if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. Hey, if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. Thank you. Namaste.
Kathy, Ed, yay! It's so good to see our people returning or coming back. I hope everything is well with you, because Texas got hit pretty bad. So, but you're okay? Okay, good. Yeah, okay, good. Our theme this month is the way of enlightenment, and according to Meister Eckhart, and then further by Matthew Fox, there are 4 paths to enlightenment. And last week we covered the first one, the Via Positiva, where we find God in the awe and the wonder and the joy that we find in nature, we find it in all beings, all manner of expression. So we find God by being in this world and by being immersed in its beauty and splendor. And today our topic is the Via Negativa, which we touched a bit on last week, and it is the way of letting go. It's the opposite and yet very necessary side of the Via Positiva. Where we were immersed in the light of God, Via Positiva, today we're looking at the darkness or the mystery of God. T.S. Eliot says, "I said to my soul, be still, and let the dark come upon you, which shall be the darkness of God." And Rainier Maria Rilke says, "Yet no matter how deeply I go down into myself, my God is dark, like a webbing made of 100 roots that drink in silence." So as the Via Positiva shows us the way of awe, expression, and interaction with nature, and we might say that this is the breadth of our spirituality, because it's out there and we see it and we attract it and it attracts us. But the Via Negativity then takes us into the silence, into our own roots, into the depth of our spirituality. And so they do have to come as one, like a coin with 2 sides, like a tree with branches and roots, and they're equally important. Matthew Fox in Original Blessing writes, "A light-oriented spirituality is superficial, surface-like, lacking as it does the deep, dark roots that nourish and ground the large tree." Yeah, I was at Founders Church in Los Angeles about 300 years ago. But anyway, I was the superintendent of the youth church, so I had kids from kindergarten through 6th grade, and I had about 120 in each for 2 hours, 120 each. But we had this beautiful building, and then outside we had this wonderful yard and this huge tree, so it was great for picnics, and we just loved it. And one day I noticed that the branches were becoming thick, so I asked the administration if they would please prune it. But before they could get into doing that, we had a large storm, and the following Sunday we found our tree completely uprooted. Yeah, it was very sad. And it was a California pine, so if you know what a California pine is, their root system is very light. So it just couldn't compete against the weight of the branches and the wind. And our spiritual journey is much like that tree. If we don't send deep roots, learning to trust, as John was reading, trust the mystery of things we cannot explain, then our enlightenment is compromised. It's hard for us to be in the silence of our own soul. For many of us, we find it hard to meditate, to sit still, to sit with the questions and not want to jump to answers. But that is what the Via Negativa asks of us. We often think of the Via Negativa as negatives in our life. Pain, suffering, the shadow side of ourselves. And while it can include those things, it's also much broader. It includes the meanings of our dreams. It includes the recognition of our intuitive wisdom. It includes our inherent need for silence as a way of connecting to our source. And that's all part of the Via Negativa too, the way of mystery. And how we get in touch with the deepest part of ourselves. And how do we befriend this Via Negativa? Matthew Fox says, first, it is healthy to reflect on how, in fact, our lives are already bound in darkness without having to perform any extraordinary manipulations. For example, we all began in the dark. We lived apparently quite contented lives for 9 full months in the dark. The womb was not a fearful place. And we can also consider that most of what makes our body work also goes on in the dark. You know, our heart is beating, our lungs are breathing, our stomach is digesting, our blood is circulating, all in the dark. So we already have a relationship with the mystery, but we just need to become more familiar with it, so that it's a place of comfort for us rather than fear. In Original Blessing, Matthew Fox emphasizes two themes that help us befriend the via negativa: emptying and being emptied. Emptying is proactive. We take the initiative. It's a time of letting go of beliefs that no longer serve, of whatever we might be holding against another person or against ourselves, the emptying of images, especially images of who we think we are. Many years ago, I've forgotten the gentleman's name, but he was quite familiar at the time. I was in a workshop where he asked the question, who am I? So we begin with, who am I? And then we gave a definition. And then we followed that statement with, but this is not the truth of me, who am I? We took every label and peeled it back. I'm a mother, a minister, woman, person, body, but this is not the truth of me, who am I? And then we took every attribute and peeled those back. I am kind, I'm compassionate, I'm loving, I'm angry, I'm mean, but this is not the truth of me, who am I? And the truth is, as long as we say, I am, we are limiting who we truly are. Because we've got to get to a place where I doesn't make any difference. Just as the Tao that can be named is not the true Tao, the essence of who I am cannot be named by saying who I am. You and I are God in expression, and as such, we are beyond definition. So asking who am I is a wonderful exercise that kind of peels off those layers of how we have identified ourselves, and so that we can touch those parts of us that can't be named. And try it sometime, because it's really pretty powerful. So anyway, in our meditation time, we can also let go of everything that keeps us from seeing how beloved we are. Might be a time of releasing resentments, emptying ourselves of some toxic attachments, from holding grudges or anger. It might be that we release shame, forgiving ourselves of past wrongdoings or foolish behavior. It might be releasing our ego images of not being worthy, not being enough. And finally, as we release these things, we will come to the place where we don't need to release anything. We are comfortable in the silence of our own heart, and we're no longer attached to what our ego thinks is important. As we trust the process of our own spiritual growth, and we begin to truly feel that sense of peace that passes all understanding. Yeah, it's interesting because when I lost everything in the Northridge earthquake, at first I was frightened and unhappy, but almost immediately I felt a sense of euphoria. It was like, there is nothing on this planet that tells anybody who I am. There's no piece of paper, there's no purse, there's no clothes. Really, I was just, all of a sudden I was so free. And then when we got an apartment and we started dragging furniture back in, I really cried because it was like adding all that stuff. And for that moment, I was so absolutely free. We were lucky we had insurance, so it covered most of everything. But I had friends who said, Donna, we had no insurance. We lost everything. And I had exactly the same feeling that you did. So it's not about being able to take care of yourself financially. It is really about releasing anything that we're attached to. So for us to take the lead in our own befriending of the darkness, we have to make room for those times of meditation, times of silence, so that we can empty the vessel of our own soul, allowing it to grow freely without interference. And then being emptied. Being emptied is something that happens to us, and it happens most often through painful experiences. In an interview, Oprah Winfrey asked Dr. Michael Beckwith to talk about the via negativa. And he said, it is the time when you're losing your identification with your previous identity, but you don't yet have an identification with what's newly emerging. You're in the dark. You know who you used to be, but you're not that anymore. But who you're becoming, you're not that either. So there's fear, there's disconnect, and there's pain. And we find this when our life is disrupted by great change, the death of a spouse or a child, divorce, a move to an unfamiliar place, being let go or retiring after years at the same job, having a health issue that changes the way we must live. So in situations like this, we are between identities. And if we can sit with the pain without numbing ourselves with drugs, alcohol, television, or shopping, then that pain becomes our source of transformation. We begin to cope, and we move on, and we are spiritually deepened. Maybe it's by hindsight, we are spiritually deepened because of that process. Matthew Fox says, facing the darkness, admitting the pain, allowing the pain to be pain is never easy. That is why courage, big-heartedness, is the most essential virtue on the spiritual journey. So there's value in pain, and it helps if we know that at some level, even while we're in the midst of it. It can help sensitize us to true beauty and delight. And then sometimes something we've ordinarily ignored becomes a thing of great meaning. We all know the story of the man traveling across a field who encounters a tiger. He flees, the tiger after him, and he comes to a precipice. He catches hold of the root of a wild vine and swings himself down over the edge, looks down, there's another tiger at the bottom. And the tiger sniffs at him from above, and only the vine sustains him, but there are 2 mice chewing at that. The man sees a luscious strawberry near him. Grasping the vine with one hand, he plucks the strawberry with the other. How sweet it tastes. So pain also can lead to justice. As pain is shared and people find commonality in their suffering. I've been kind of following the Uvalde school stuff, and the parents from Uvalde have been able to fire all the school police and force the retiring of other responsible parties. Also, there's been abuse that has just come to light over the women's soccer team. And throughout the years, we've had these things that have been covered up and covered up and covered up. And when they start to come out, the pain is shared and people come forward to make change. So that's how pain can be helpful too. I don't know where I was looking, but I found an article from the Guidepost magazine a long time ago. And it was about Corrie ten Boom. I didn't know her, but everybody does. But she was arrested by the Nazis along with the rest of her family for hiding Jews in their home during the Holocaust. And she was sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp along with her sister Betsy, who perished there just days before Corrie's own release on December 31st, 1944. Inspired by Betsy's example of selfless love and forgiveness amid extreme cruelty and persecution, Corrie established a post-war home for other camp survivors trying to recover from the horrors they had escaped. And she went on to travel widely as a missionary preaching God's forgiveness and the need for reconciliation. And Corrie's devout moral principles were tested when she came face to face with one of her former tormentors. So I want to close today with her story because what an incredible example of the transformation that evolves from the Via Negativa. It was in a church in Munich that I saw him. A balding, heavy-set man in a gray overcoat, a brown felt hat clutched between his hands. People were filing out of the basement room where I had just spoken. It was 1947, and I had come from Holland to defeated Germany with the message that God forgives. And that's when I saw him, working his way forward against the others. One moment I saw the overcoat and the brown hat. The next, a blue uniform with a visored cap with its skull and crossbones. It came back with a rush. The huge room with its harsh overhead lights, the pathetic pile of dresses and shoes in the center of the floor, the shame of walking naked past this man. I could see my sister's frail form ahead of me, ribs sharp beneath the parchment skin. Betsy, how thin you were. Betsy and I had been arrested for concealing Jews in our home during the Nazi occupation of Holland. This man had been a guard at Ravensbrück concentration camp where we were sent. You mentioned Ravensbrück in your talk, he was saying. I was a guard there. No, he did not remember me. But since that time, he went on, I have become a Christian. I know that God has forgiven me for the cruel things I did there, but I would like to hear it from your lips as well. Fräulein, his hand came out, will you forgive me? And I stood there. I, whose sins every day had to be forgiven, and could not. Betsy had died in that place. Could he erase her slow, terrible death simply for the asking? It could not have been many seconds that he stood there, hand held out. But to me it seems hours as I wrestled with the most difficult thing I had to do. For I had to do it, I knew that. The message that God forgives has a prior condition, that we forgive those who have injured us. If you do not forgive men their trespasses, Jesus says, neither will your Father in heaven forgive your trespasses. And I stood there with the coldness clutching my heart. But forgiveness is not an emotion. I knew that too. Forgiveness is an act of the will, and the will can function regardless of the temperature of the heart. Jesus, help me, I prayed silently. I can lift my hand. I can do that much. You supply the feeling. And so woodenly, mechanically, I thrust my hand into the one stretched out to me. And as I did, an incredible thing took place. The current started in my shoulder, raced down my arm, sprang into our joined hands. And then this healing warmth seemed to flood my whole being, bring tears to my eyes. I forgive you, brother, I cried, with all my heart. For a long moment, we grasped each other's hands, the former guard and the former prisoner. I had never known God's love so intensely as I did then. So that is the value of the Via Negativa, the way of letting go. Thank you very much. Namaste.
So if you notice, your green sheet is blank today.
Because we only have 3 words.
That's for a reason. Because your words are let it go. That's it. That's it. Things are just too much and I'm holding on so tight. I wanna relax, to give up without a fight. stop, take a breath, relax, surrender, choose, and say, let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go, yeah. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go. So I want you to take a moment. Think about those things that we just talked about. Think about who and what you're ready to let go of that no longer serves you. Sometimes you have to go really deep within to find those things, and sometimes they're right at the front of your mind. Sometimes they're from a long time ago. And you carry them for miles and miles and years with. It's like that parable about the monk that I love so much. The monk, two monks were walking next to a geisha, and of course no one is supposed to regard a geisha, but it was muddy and it was raining, and the geisha needed to get over this puddle. And so the monks, they broke their vow of silence to help her. They lifted her up, carried her over the puddle, and they all continued along the road in silence once again. And then the monk number one turned to monk number two. They got about, I don't know, maybe 3-4 miles down the road to their destination. And the monk said to the other, I can't believe we broke our vows to touch a geisha, and I'm so torn. And now I'm breaking my vow of silence to talk to you about it. And the other monk just looked at him and said, that's very interesting that you should be still thinking about that. I put her down miles ago. Think about this. Don't hold grudges. Don't hold those things that don't serve you. Right? What do? Let it go, let it go, let it go. Yeah? Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go. So what are those things that you need to put down that you should have put down miles ago? Let's sing it again. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go.
Okay, it's time for our offering. Chance to put that law of circulation in process. So I ask you to join me in our offering affirmation on the left-hand side of your bulletin. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Thank you so much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And again, I give thanks to each and every one of you for making us who we are, which I think is pretty cool. So let's take a moment just to pray out and then join the choir or have some refreshments and just take a moment to say hi to somebody. So I know that there is one life. It's the life of God that animates all creation. And the attributes of that one life are love, peace, joy, harmony, abundance. And because each of us is a part of that life, these are the inherent qualities of who and what we are. So from that, via Positiva, we give thanks for everything that we see, every connection that we have, every piece of nature that touches our heart. And from the via Negativa, we give thanks for those things that go deep within us, those things that are the catalyst for our transformation, that allow us to see clearly in the midst of pain and suffering, and to know that this too is God in a wonderful way, as that pain and suffering turns to absolute love. So we just take a moment to give thanks for each and every one of us here, for all of the things that we have, all the blessings that we are, and we just allow it to be, as we say together, and so it is. Thank you. Can we form a circle and sing stand?
So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace, let there be love. I am a stand for love, let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now, so let there be peace.